60-second Nikke reviews. Episode Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil collab. Go! Jill Valentine is the second character to be released with the new Resident Evil collab, a low rate of fire assault rifle wielder who uses different ammo types depending on what skill is triggered. Her skill 1 has two different effects. The first effect activates at the start of battle and whenever she reloads, buffing her own normal attack damage multiplier by 17.01% for 9 rounds. The skill's secondary effect triggers when using full burst, and buffs her own true damage by 20.59% for 10 seconds. Her skill 2, Acid Ammo, functions the same way as her skill 1. It triggers at the start of battle and whenever Jill reloads to full ammo, but technically only applies to the first bullet in each magazine. Whenever Jill fires the first bullet in each mag, she fires an acid bullet that deals 113.45% of her final attack as sustained damage every 1 second for 30 seconds total. The skill also buffs her attack by 22.15% for 10 seconds. Finally, her burst increases her reload speed by 54.6%, her hit rate by 47.73%, her attack damage by 42.43%, and makes her normal attacks deal true damage for 10 seconds each, so essentially during the duration of full burst. The burst also forces Jill to reload, forcibly re-triggering her skill 1 and skill 2 attack damage multiplier and attack buffs on top of her burst buffs and reapplying the acid bullet sustained damage of her skill 2. Essentially stacking all of Jill's buffs on top of each other for each of her bursts. Assuming you got both Jill and Ada for the collab, and considering Ada buffs true damage with her skill 1 to burst 3 units used to burst previously, it makes sense to use Jill's burst 3 for the first burst rotation and as much as humanly possible for future full burst durations, so she can take as much advantage of Ada's buffs as humanly possible. This also means that Ada becomes more of a burst 3 stat buffer than a DPS unit, and makes her burst less relevant. I might have to go back and redo my Ada review for future reference, but back on topic. Jill's an interesting DPS unit with a relatively slow fire rate for an assault rifle character, but she's also very simple to use as a result of her build. Like with previous collabs, she benefits from also acquiring the other collab units as their buffs directly synergize with each other. And considering the practically non-existent high-tier meta units with true damage buff capabilities, unless you manage to grab both Ada and Jill, Jill sadly falls off in terms of pull priority. She therefore nets an overall rating of B tier 6.5 out of 10. Without Ada, she simply falls off too far and you have better use for your pull tickets elsewhere.